This video is on how to factor out the greatest common factor. And here are the steps. Step number 1. What is the largest number you can divide into each term? Put this outside of parentheses. Step number 2. What is the lowest power x? And when I'm saying lowest power x, any lowest power variable, a, b, c, x, y, z. Put that outside of parentheses. And then step 3, divide each term by what's outside the parentheses. So let's try these problems using the steps. So here's the first problem, 10x to the third plus 5x. Step number 1, what is the largest number that divides into 10 and 5 to each term? 10 and 5, the largest number that divides into both of those is 5. Put that outside a parentheses. There's my 5. Step number 2. What is the lowest power x? I have x to the third power, and I have x to the 1 power. The lowest power x is x to the 1 power. Step number 3, divide each term by what's outside the parentheses. Outside the parentheses is 5x, so I'm going to divide each term by 5x. Let's see what I get. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I bring the answer straight down. x3 divided by x. When you divide numbers with the same base, you subtract their powers. So power 3 minus power 1 is x to the second power. Plus 5 divided by 5 is 1. X divided by x cancels out. So we just have 1. Here is my answer. Factor out the greatest common factor. I just did. It's 5x parentheses 2x squared plus 1. Now, a lot of people want to know, well, how can you check your work? Well, you can check your work by distributing this. If you multiply 5x times 2x squared, you should get 10x3. 5x times 1, you should get 5x. So you can always check your work by distributing and make sure you have the right thing, right answer. Okay, the next problem. What is the largest number that divides into each of these terms? Well, each term just has an invisible 1 sitting in front of it. So I'm just going to put 1 outside of a parentheses. You don't actually have to put anything, but just because I'm just going to put a 1. There's an invisible 1 in front of the A, and there's an invisible 1 here. So each of these is a 1. You don't have to put anything. Step 2, what is the lowest power x? Well, instead of x's, we have a's. So I have a to the 4th power and a to the 2nd power. The lowest power a is a to the 2nd power. Now, since we have more letters, we have to say this again. What is the lowest power b? I have b to the 1 power and b to the 3 power. So the lowest power b is just b to the 1 power. And the last step, divide each of these terms by what's outside the parentheses. 1 a squared b, 1 a squared b. And bring your answer straight down. 1 divided by 1 is 1. I'm not going to put the 1 this time. A4 divided by A2, you subtract the powers. Even though it's dividing, when you do divide numbers with the same base in exponents, you subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I have a to the 2nd power. Since each b is exactly the same, they just cancel out. A squares cancel out. I have b to the 3rd divided by b. In other words, 3 minus the power of 1. 3 minus 1 is a positive b to the 2nd power. Here's my answer. To make it look more like a real math problem, let's just get rid of that 1. Normally you don't put a 1 in front of a letter. It's understood to be there. Try a couple more. I have 2 more problems. Step number 1. What is the largest number that divides into each of these terms? Now, since they're both negative, or the first term is negative, I'm actually going to factor out a -2. I'm going to divide each by -2 outside the big parentheses. Then, step 2, what is the lowest power b? I have b to the 2nd power and I have b to the second power, and I have no b. So the lowest power b is no b. So we don't put anything outside since there's no b in one of these terms. So we just divide. We're done now. Step 3, divide each term by what's outside the parentheses. We're going to divide each of these by -2. And we get -2 divided by -2 is +1 with a b square. -98 divided by a -2, negative divided by negative is a positive. 98 divided by 2 is 49. So my answer to this one is -2 times b squared plus 49. And the last one. What is the largest number that divides into each of these terms? And the answer is 8. So I'm going to put 8 outside of parentheses. What is the lowest power v? So we're looking at all the v's. V to the 1 power, v to the 1 power, v to the 1 power. Lowest power is v to the 1 power. What is the lowest power w next? W to the second power, w to the first power, and no w. Since one of the terms has no w, we put no w out here. We don't put anything. Step 3. Divide each term by what we have outside the parentheses. We have 8v outside the parentheses, so we're going to divide each term by 8v. 8 divided by 8 is 1. The v's cancel since they're exactly the same. I'm left with w squared. 32 divided by 8 is 4. The v's cancel. I'm left with w. 32 divided by 8 is 4. And here, the v's cancel. So this is a 4. And this is my answer. Now, if you can continue on and factor this. I'm not going to because I just wanted to show you how to factor out the greatest common factor. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.